Welcome to the second instalment of this series looking at rugby's champions from this season. This week we break down England's champion, the Northampton Saints. The Saints were a dominant force in English rugby this season, while they also reached the European Cup semi-finals. Let's dive into the tactics behind the trophy. Northampton are a side who love to attack. They scored over 600 points in the Premiership this season. Only the Bristol Bears cleared 590. Third best were at 563 points. Clearly, they are a side who possess a huge attacking firepower. The Saints base their attack around layers, like the majority of sides in professional rugby. However, their ability to make decisions at the line is what really sets them apart. In each of these examples, we see them attack and play flat to the line, using a typical 3-1 shape. The mechanics of this shape was discussed in the last video, breaking down Toulouse's attack, a sign of the similarity in rugby's different attacks. However, it is the execution and decision-making that matters. Northampton's timing close to the line has enabled them to make huge meters when attacking the long side. The Saints sit fourth in Europe at averaging 2.7 metres when attacking the long side. In this phase against Saracens we see why. Finn Smith takes the ball from the moving forward pod. This allows the fly half to attack against a disjointed Saracens defence. Nick Ezekwe is isolated because Theo McFarland has held his feet, meaning that the Saints smell blood. The second part of the 3-1 shape, run by the lock forward coming off the wing, checks Saracens defender just enough. This opens a channel for Northampton's Dingwall, who carves through, and the East Midlanders make significant ground. One of their real strengths was the ability to play flat to the defensive line. This is reflected in Oval's data. They averaged the flattest attack in the Premiership. This allows them to unpick defences with ease. Let's return to those two phases shown earlier. Against Bristol, we can see how the player in the boot takes the ball flat to the line. This means that defenders are forced to sit off, thanks to the effective lead runners. This creates a 3v1 opportunity in the wide channels. While against Newcastle, we see a similar advantage to their flat attack. The final lead runner here pins down two Newcastle defenders. This creates a 2-on-1 in the wide channel for Northampton. Ollie Slightholme then shows his excellent ability and scores out wide. However, the long side is just one part of an attack. Saints have also been excellent at playing down the short side. Their attack relying on similar principles such as playing flat, while they have their own style to unpick the defence. One of the main mechanics of this style revolves around their use of the scrum half. Rather than delivering from the base, the scrum half often looks to leave the pocket and challenge defenders. Adding an extra player to the attack is especially effective on the short side. This second clip from their game against Harlequins shows this well. They hit into the midfield and then Mitchell scoots to the blind side and gives a short pass. This mechanic has enabled the Saints to be one of the best sides in the compact space of the short side, helped by Mitchell's ability to influence defenders due to his real threat and the close quarter skills of the Saints players. One other driving factor of their success on their short side is play design. Sam Vesti has developed a dangerous attacking game plan. Part of this has been the strength of their rewind plays. The Exeter and Munster tries both start with direct carries into midfield. In this first clip we see Mitchell immediately hit back, using forwards to pin the blindside defenders, while an eagerness to get around the corner leaves a disconnect that Mitchell then carves through. Against Munster, the launch contains two phases the same way before the bounce back. This means it's simply a 21 play, but it comes from the same family as the move against Exeter. Both these moves play around the positioning of the front rowers, targeting props who are slow to set and therefore can be exposed by Mitchell's pace. The play against Bath also exposes the prop, though this time the Bath prop has overfolded. This means when Laws plays close to line and fixes his opposite number and Mitchell sweeps around the back, it opens a hole for Furbank to burst straight through the middle and set Freeman on his way to score. These three plays show how Saints maximise their superpowers to launch effectively. Northampton have also been effective at protecting their weaknesses. One of rugby's most common weapons is the driving maul, but last season Northampton ranked 4th worst across Europe. So the Saints coaching staff went away and have created a variety of plays which suit their side. In our first example against Quins, we see Ollie Slightholme pick a hard line off a forward breaking for the maul, while we see the same shape used against Bath, this time Hendy carves through to score. The final example against Toulon shows how they can use these mauls to hit wider from the line-out, backing the same handling which underpins their phase play attack and sees Seabrook slide over. All of these exhibit how Northampton have changed a weak point in their maul to a super strength, especially with their ability to get their dangerous wingers onto the ball. A superb adaptation to the playing squad at their disposal for the Northampton Saints coaching and management staff. Another area Northampton have adapted to a smaller side has been their defence. Rather than the high line speed and imposing defence of Toulouse or Leinster, the Saints have prioritised connection. They have the 9th lowest line speed in Europe according to PPDA. As this defensive set from Quins plays out, look at how Saints are happy to push them toward the touchline. Even when Quins are under pressure, there's no over-exuberance and Saints march slowly, taking yards and allowing the London side to play in front of them. This phase from Saracens exhibits the same hallmarks. Where an Exeter or a Leinster defence predicated on line speed would fly after these deep passes, Saints instead prioritise connection, protecting their zones and awaiting the mistake. In this sequence later in the game, Saracens have to go from side to side running up the phase camp before creating a mismatch. Owen Farrell runs at his opposite number and is able to offload, but Saracens burn the chance throwing a speculative ball which is then intercepted. This style of defence takes an immense amount of patience, especially when the gains aren't always visible. In this attack from Exeter, we see the Chiefs making ground initially, going for multiple phases and zigzagging up the field, before a single slip-up with the 9 caught in contact then allows the Saints to force a turnover and escape the pressure. A sign of the importance of the connection in this style is shown when it fails. Saints had a slight weakness to the inside ball this season. In the first 2 clips we see individual disconnects leading to the break, with players slow to connect as they get off the line and leaving holes. While in the final clip we see Munster manufacture a disconnect, with a long clear to take away the inside fold. These clips are an exception that proves the rule, and shows just how influential Lee Radford has been. While the Saints attackers had continued success with only a slight drop in productivity compared to last year, this year Lee Radford has helped the Saints concede 190 fewer points, nearly a try less per game, an exceptional improvement. One area that Radford seems to have had a major impact is on Saints' approach in the tackle. This season Northampton have made 24 strips in the tackle, the second best in Europe. The use of these types of tackles is allowing them to threaten teams in multiple ways. This ability to turn over the ball has fed into Saints' deadly ability in transition attack. This ability to turn over the ball feeds into Saints' deadly ability in transition, when defence becomes attack. One way Saints achieve this is by spreading the ball. On attack from turnover, they average the 5th most passes per phase. This helps them to flank the opposing defences, who are slower to realign, with Saints then able to hit the space. This kick counter against Quins shows that it wasn't necessarily about width, but it becomes a race to space. Once Mitchell beats the first chaser, Saints then flood down the 15-metre channel with 5 players against Harlequins 2. While against Tigers they face a more organised defence, their handling ability is able to put away a series of 2-on-1 scenarios. These pictures are undoubtedly something Northampton target in training sessions, helping them make it look flawless on the field. This clip against Munster shows the same intent on turnover attack. The speed to set from Saints allows them to get their layers ready and outflank the Munster defence. We also see the use of a continuation kick in the wide channel to keep piling on the pressure. While against Quins they use another kick having broken through the line, this time enabling them to score. An extra weapon in Saints' already impressive repertoire. Northampton have created an impressive team, a team that secured greatness by doubling down on what they can do and supersizing their superpowers, while adapting to overcome their weaknesses. They may have started slowly, losing their first two before scraping past Newcastle, but once the system clicked into place, they were phenomenal. Their ability to play flat to the line led to defences making poor decisions, while the Saints' impressive handling and individual skills moved the ball to the space and exposed these weaknesses. On their launch plays, they realised they had a weak maul and instead found other ways to pose questions to the defence. While on defence, the problem-solving continued, with the Saints creating an impressive zonal defence, predicated on their connections, while they did embrace the physicality in the tackle to force turnovers, playing a key role in their winning moment at Twickenham. The Shoe Army have supported a team capable of giving any team a game by playing their way, an approach that the team will hone and move forward again next season.